You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment. The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Hart of Dixie After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Hart of Dixie After Show.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
We're not getting it.
It's messing up.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back. It's Hart of Dixie, Season 2, Episode 18. It's called Why Don't We Get Drunk? And it has been a while, you guys. We're glad to be back with you. I'm your host, Whitney Lane, joined with...
Yes, hi everybody, I am Paige Sullivan.
I'm Christine Archer.
Hi guys, it's Michelle Renee.
And it is spring break in BlueBell, y'all. So we are going to talk about it. Kind of fits perfectly with what's happening right now, right? We know they always have little events for what's happening in real life. So let's talk about it. What you think? It was kind of crazy how it opened, right?
Pretty big event for BlueBell.
Huge. I mean, they want it to be the new Mobile.
But of all of the events that they do, at least this was like an actual event that occurs in
Real life.
Yeah, in real life instead of something off the wall that we normally see.
Surprisingly very crazy for this small town with people like wasted with their heads on the bar and like barely wearing any clothing. I was surprised.
Flashing.
Like, do the townspeople have to stay indoors for this week? Because there's like children and the people we normally see, there was no sight of them at all.
I don't know where these. First of all, why did we miss the casting call for the extra call for this? We should have gone.
I know, it looks like a party,
right? It looks
A lot
really
of
fun. But yeah, I don't really know where these people came from. There's like not a university or college there. I don't.
But you
really
guys,
know
if you
what's
watched it once, go back and watch it again because there's some very entertaining extras back there in the background. We were like, look at him, look at her. So that
Because they're doing the same move over and over. I mean, they're there all day. And somebody was telling me a lot of times there's no music, so they're just kind of winging it. You have to like sing a song in your own head, right?
And like I think that some of them clearly knew they were on camera, so they were definitely trying to milk it, which good for them.
Yeah.
You know.
Let your
wanted
face be seen.
I wanted to be the newscaster lady. That could have been me.
You could have. I think it would have been great. Well, the only person who seems to have never experienced spring break in her life was Zoe Hart. And it was really weird. She was like, all these underage people, like, all these bad things are going to happen. I'm just like, relax, honey. Experience a lot. Like, she seems like she'd be really cool. Just like, chill out.
Maybe she didn't go on spring break, but you would have thought maybe in college she had one of those bad nights or she partied it up a little bit. But apparently not.
None of that.
I see her drinking wine alone a lot.
Sad.
So I think she's probably been drunk before, but not partied necessarily to reach that level of drunkenness. So maybe not the keg stands.
That's why she needed Wade to pull that out of her. But I'm still wondering, how long has it been since they've been broken up? Because they're like back to being like this friend. I don't know. It's
Buddies.
really weird.
Well, they said 6 months, but I didn't know if that meant 6 months, like since they started dating and then including the breakup to now, or if it was like 6 months from the end of the breakup to now.
But I feel like the relationship was a decent amount of time. I mean, because you think Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's now spring break.
So maybe from the
beginning of the relationship, but
6 months.
There's still like too much just like
Up
it's
in the
weird.
air.
It's not like they even talk about what's happened. They joke about it now, and she's just like, okay.
I would have liked to see the in between period. You know, yeah, I've been sad for a couple months, so obviously they've been off for a while. But I don't think you ever. Maybe it's because they live basically together that they just had to get over it faster than a normal couple would.
Can we quickly get a refresher for myself and anyone who's listening as to what their like last interaction was before
She gave back his stuff.
She found out that he cheated, gave back his stuff, and said, I don't forgive you, but I will try to move on.
Okay.
But it's kind of like it's just weird. Because now there's Jonah, and now there's George, and it's just like, when are you going to actually show us what's going on between Wade and Zoe? You can't just end it there. Everybody loves Wade and Zoe. You can't just move on to someone else. I don't know, it's weird to me.
Yeah, and you don't even see any kind of relationship You don't see Wade working for it or trying to get her back. It's just kind of like he's resting on it, and we're friends.
It's like there's no chemistry
Well,
anymore.
I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, that they didn't want to beat a dead horse necessarily. They can't have every episode be about like Wade and Zoe's relationship. I think we're gonna get back to that in like the last few episodes. And so instead of like focusing too much on it now, with another episode dedicated to their breakup, they're probably gonna focus a little bit more on it later.
Which
that
is
would be
good,
my guess.
But we do need closure. We need
do.
closure,
Yeah.
people. So what did you think? She's walking around trying to do keg stands and like doing random things, and Jonah is her partner in crime.
It almost makes you think that she didn't experience college in general, because the lines that Jonah spits out at her and the things he says and the way he acts, I feel like she doesn't see it for what it is. Watching it, you're like, this is painful. This is annoying. I wrote down Jonah is annoying.
Well,
Because he was
he's
annoying
a
the crap
charmer,
out
and
of me.
girls let him get away with it. That's the problem.
I thought it was funny that he had on a Duke sweatshirt, because I mean, we went to,
Yeah, UVA.
why am I calling Rachel? Whitney and I went to University of Virginia, which is in the ACC with Duke. And so, like, is that indicating that Duke is like a party school?
I don't know. It was really weird.
Like, if you know, I would feel a certain way if someone had like a UVA sweatshirt on and they were the person that was like condoning and like
Yeah, but
trying to
what-
get her to be a party animal.
Just a little fun fact for everybody watching: UVA is actually the smartest party school of all
saw
the
that.
schools.
Saw
Just
that,
saw
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
UVA
anyways,
is a
but
party
yeah,
school, but
kind of
that
weird.
to me kind of I don't know.
I was
think that was
surprised.
purposeful.
Oh,
I think
for
it
sure.
was just like trying to put him back in his like college days, not necessarily like indicating that Duke itself is a party school, but just like, I don't know, trying to portray Jonah and Zoe as these like college kids, like
Exactly.
you know, whatever.
Yeah, her fanny pack.
I definitely see him being like a frat star though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So spring break is this huge thing that Lavon is trying to put together for BlueBell to be just like the town in the South, you know, for the partying. But it kind of fails because Mr. Fillmore, mayor, comes along and tries to get everybody to go away for a beer pong tournament. So Ruby steps in. So that was a big shocker, right? Ruby's back.
Can we first, just before that, before we get to Ruby, talk about like Lavon as this like chaperone of
Oh,
spring
dear.
break? Did you guys do Beach Week back in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So like that's what it reminded me of, like Lavon being, for those of you who don't know, because I know it's like not everywhere, but Beach Week basically in high school, like seniors go, you stay at the beach for the week, whatever. And there's chaperone, obviously. But Lavon, it just like, I was picturing like Lavon as this like Beach Week chaperone, and like, I don't know, it was
it's-
just a little too
It was a little
much for
creepy
me.
to me. I felt like he was looking at all these
Yeah.
girls and having a real good time watching them have spring break. It was like a TV show to him. He was just watching it all
but
happen.
Underage people drinking alcohol. Like, you are the mayor, Lavon. You've got to get it together.
Well, maybe they were third and fourth years.
Maybe.
No? Okay.
Maybe.
Not really. We all know they weren't. But.
But, so it's kind of funny. He's trying to get this started so BlueBell will be more popular than Fillmore, his competition. But he can't really keep all those people there because beer pong, it brings the people out.
It's fun, people. Fun.
So Ruby's kind of in the crowd. I think it's just funny because, like, first Lavon sees Annabeth. Then he sees Ruby, and he's, like, you know, trying to, like, maneuver through the crowd to get to each of these women. And I don't know. What did you think about Ruby returning, you guys?
Annoying. Maybe that's just my word for this. The people in this episode. She just annoyed me. Why come back now to watch her grandfather? But it just kind of, I get why, because it catapulted the Lemon and Annabeth thing, and Lemon gave Annabeth permission to go after Lavon, and I get that this was the spark that they needed, but it was just a little, I felt like we could do without it.
It
Yeah.
brought closure, at least, I think, for Lavon.
I'm a little surprised it ended the way that it did. I kind of thought he would go back to Ruby before he went back to, I almost said Caitlin, before he went back to Annabeth.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't think
I felt like that'd be a step backwards for the show, because I feel like we've gotten over Ruby and they already had their ups and downs and they already had their we shouldn't be together, we should be together thing.
But Lavon just wants a girlfriend. Like, no offense to him, but it seems to me as if he is just longing for a relationship. So I don't think it would be that far-fetched that he would, like, entertain the idea of potentially going back to Ruby. And I would have liked to have seen that conversation between them when he was like, you know what, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And we didn't see that.
either.
So
So who knows if she'll return or not. I guess we'll find that out eventually. But good thing she came to town because she had the best idea, which I thought was so random, palms on a boat. So basically you get a $50,000 boat if you keep your palm on it for the longest, which lasted, I think the contest lasted like 36 hours or something. Lemon and Wade lasting till the end. And they are smart. They're a good team. They were like kind of manipulating the rest of the people, and then out pops this crazy lady that I was like, get her out.
She was my favorite character ever.
Really?
She's like, I'm not going to end up in the hospital. Favorite
She
line
was
of
like,
the
I
season.
know she would have totally made me walk away because her annoying songs, I was just like, shut up, even watching her for 2 seconds. So she did very well getting on their nerves.
Okay, I have a question. Did anyone used to watch the show? There was a show with the same contest or concept, whatever. They had to leave their hand on an object for like wedding prizes. And like they would like bribe people. They'd be like, okay, like someone can drop out now and we'll give you like a wedding dress. But like the ultimate prize was like a honeymoon or
honeymoon.
something. Anyway, yeah, that was like a flashback to me being
Wow.
like 14
Yeah.
watching that show.
Good game shows
I'm done,
there.
yeah.
Fun stuff. Well, in the end, so they're both like there. They kind of came together. They aligned together to try to get rid of this lady. And then Zoe comes in to tell Lemon there's some unfortunate news about Brick. Apparently, he's been having headaches. He has been running into things. He's been hurting his hand, but then his hand's okay. Like, just weird things that are happening. Couldn't fix a flat tire. So they're a little worried. So George finds this out. Shelby is, kind of letting George know what's happening. And so Zoe's like, okay, I got to go take care of Brick. It's fun how they've kind of formed a bond now. It took them a while, but they're there for each other, even if they still get on each other's nerves.
If you think about it, we're probably coming up on her 2-year anniversary in BlueBell. I mean, end of a season.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's been there for about 2 years. So they've learned to work well together. And even if you dislike somebody, you kind of have, you don't want bad things to happen to them. And so as much as she fights with Brick and is annoyed with Brick, she wants to make sure he's all right. And I think it was nice to also see how I liked how all the women really kind of supported each other this episode. When Zoe came and said those things about George, Tansy didn't snap at Zoe, she snapped at George. And Zoe's going to Lemon now. I like to see that the women aren't all catty towards each other anymore. And it's kind of more they have each other's backs in a way.
Wonder how long that'll last, though.
It is good to see, though, for sure, because, people always blame the other girl. It's like, relationships. It's like, what? He, cheated on me with her? It's like, why blame her? You need to blame him, you know? So finally, it is coming around, but it is good because you need that support system. And these ladies, it's a small town. You've got to have those friendships,
Yeah, and I just don't think you see that as much on TV as you do women who kind of break each other down. And we even saw that the first season of Hart of Dixie was Lemon attacking her, Lemon and Ruby, and we saw a little bit of Ruby going after Lemon this episode. But I liked seeing that camaraderie between all of them. I think it's nice. I think it sends a good message to the viewers. And it tells you to drink when you're underage and have a real good time.
Don't do that, people.
But if you don't ask their age, it doesn't matter because it
Says
not
Wade.
underage drinking.
Of course, Wade would say that. But, so, Zoe comes in to tell Lemon, which, I don't know, what do you all think? Do you think that was a good idea, not a good idea to tell Lemon that Brick's getting an MRI?
Good idea. I think Brick should have told people, and as we think that he's probably not being truthful at the end of his MRI, I don't think it's very fair to keep your family out of the loop.
I don't think you should have.
I don't think you should have either.
Until he found out the reasoning, because if he had walked out, we'll get to this point, but just to 2 doctors, Jonah and Zoe, he would have been able to open up and say, okay, how do we handle this? How do we go about it? He couldn't be honest because he knew Shelby was there, Lemon's there. He can't tell you what's really going on because he has to be that dad. He has to be that strong man figure for both of those ladies. So
And if he said he did it, if he told Zoe I don't want my family finding out, I think she should have respected that
I do
because
too.
even though she's trying to be a good friend to Lemon, that's her father. And if her father chooses to, maybe keep her in the dark, then that's his decision. And their relationship is obviously stronger than your friendship, in quotes, with her. So I agree
I
with
do
Whitney.
see that. I just feel like maybe looking at it as a daughter, maybe I'd be, if I knew my father knew something and didn't tell me, I'd probably be upset saying, what could I have done? How could I have helped you? One of those things. But I
at
guess
that point, there's nothing she can do.
yeah, well, we don't know what it is, but
regardless, he needs, I think, my parents have been through this before, recently. Last year this happened, and my parents kept something from me until they found out the details. So then they can tell me, because then you're just worrying. You have anxiety. You're like, what's going on? What's going to happen? You don't even know anything about it, just that you have a test coming up.
Right.
It's better to kind of figure out all the details, know the facts, then present that in front of your family, and then you can go forward from that, I think. And I just think with Lemon and Shelby, they both seem very
well, Shelby
you know,
stalked him there. She wasn't invited. She's her out.
I think they need to think about this, because if it is something serious, which we don't know either way, because he says it's just a minor situation. So he says,
Migraines.
but you could see in his facial expressions, it's obviously something a little bit more. I hope that someone picked up on that Zoe or someone else is like, wait a second.
It looked like Zoe was
did.
registering it.
Yeah.
But you would have thought Jonah would have done the same thing.
And would
then
have
he's like off
stayed
to
and-
New York
yeah.
doing.
But when you're family, you have a tendency to hope for the best, and when they say everything's okay, you're more willing to be like, okay, good. But when I think maybe Zoe's a doctor, and as an outside person to that family, she's easier to judge and say really what's going on here.
yeah.
Well, guys, we want to hear what you think about Brick's medical condition, if there is one. Tell us what you think about whether or not he should have shared that information with his family, how he should handle it, maybe even how you should handle it. And, of course, tell us what you think of our after show. You can do that on iTunes / Hart of Dixie. You can find our show as well as other shows that AfterBuzz TV covers, like Nashville, for instance. Paige, what's yours? Castle. And
good one.
many other shows that we do here. Rate and comment. Tell us what you like or don't like. And also tell a friend. It only takes a second, and we really appreciate your feedback.
Yes,
It's always good to hear your comments because sometimes we miss it. We come right from the show to start talking about it. There are little things that I know there are details I could have caught.
Yeah, if you went
people
back
let us
and
know.
watched it again. Yeah.
So it's a little bit interesting. Let's talk a little bit about, because they're all kind of joining together when Brick comes out, from his MRI. But the whole Jonah and George situation was a little interesting throughout the whole episode.
Jonah's been around for a while, and this is the first time we've really seen George explicitly say, I have a problem with Jonah, which is a little weird to me. I kind of thought this might have been a developing thing over the course. I don't know. He's been here for at least
Couple months.
5 episodes now, 4 or 5. And there really hasn't been any interaction between him and George at all. And it doesn't surprise me. I mean, they're both macho men and whatever. So it's
Wouldn't
pretty
call George
predictable.
macho necessarily.
Well,
He
first
thought
of
he was
all,
at first.
Quirky.
Do you guys like Jonah?
No.
I actually think that he's a good addition to the show because he brings a little drama and a little bit of the bad boy into it. And he's smart at the same time and somehow connected to the family. So I think he's a good addition to it as a character because it's always nice to see some new people being pulled in.
I think he's a good addition to the show, but as a person, if I were sitting there in BlueBell, I wouldn't like Jonah. I think it's the same way I didn't really enjoy Ruby. And at the end, I kind of had a thought that maybe he's not showing his true self. It's kind of a front that he puts up and a smooth act that he presents to everybody, and that if you were to break him down, he'd probably be a lot more, friendly and fun. But the act and the charming guy that he presents to Zoe all the time, it's annoying, and it's just too forward for my taste.
Okay, but I have a question because in my mind at least, he's filling the role that Wade played throughout the entire first season. He's this bad boy, kind of jerk, picks on Zoe, kind of comes off, whatever. And that's exactly how Wade was.
Yeah, but he's saying have sex with me. He keeps saying you can get all
Wade
of
just
this.
did it though. Wade didn't ask. He just got in a car and was like, Zoe, let's
That's
do it right
true.
here.
Oh, the very first, yeah. The first episode.
Day one, they were, So
But-
I mean, it's
I
really not
agree.
any better.
I agree. I think that Wade was more of the bad guy who the girls were drawn to, and Jonah is more of the one who charms the ladies. I don't
he's
think
an attractive man.
I mean, he's good looking, but
I like him in theory, but I'm just not connecting to his character for some reason. I don't know what it is, but last season with Wade, even though I was team George at one point and then Team Wade, I just felt very connected to both of those characters, even though they had different qualities that I liked. With Jonah, I like him, but there's no connection there for me.
Well,
and I
here's
don't
the
know
thing.
why. Maybe because we haven't seen him enough.
I think that with Wade, they show you more sides of his personality. You don't just see the crazy dude, let me go have sex with girls. You see his struggles and how he wants to accomplish things and things like that. Jonah, we just see that one side. And I think that's what's coming out at the end of the episode is he thinks, okay, I can get whoever. I mean, obviously, George didn't like him because he's Jonah's a player. He goes after any girl and they go for it. And he hurts them. Well, Zoe's a little bit different because she's smart. She just wanted to have fun. She knew Jonah would have fun with her. But in the end, he also realized she wasn't the girl that's just going to go on spring break, that she's actually someone he might be interested in on a different level. I think that's what I got from it at the end.
Yeah.
Which I think we might see develop in the future. But he is, I think, if he found the right girl, we would see a completely different side of him.
I agree. The thing is, now that they gave us that spark that he's an interest in Zoe, he drives away to go to school. I mean, I'm wondering if he's going to come back, and if so, how soon?
Because he'll be back. He'll be back on a couple episodes. I know that for a fact because he should be coming into our studio soon. But I do think it'll be interesting because I think we'll see more depth with him. I think that Zoe is attracted to that bad boy at first, and then I don't know, I just could see it. You know those guys that you're always like, oh, he just wants the girls, he's a player, and then when they find the one that they're like, wait a second, there's more to this girl than I thought. I think that's Zoe for Jonah.
He's Wade, like literally. I mean, in my mind, I guess that's why I keep saying it like that. I mean, that's what Wade was. He like was going around and sleeping with, you know, all the, I don't know what even all the girls at BlueBell, I mean, you know, 10 different girls in BlueBell. And then like finally finds Zoe and is like, hey, maybe I should actually like give this girl a shot more than just like sleeping with her, you know, for one night here, one night there.
Right.
And I feel like Jonah's kind of the same way. Like he just needed Zoe or whoever to like be that one girl who he decides maybe I actually want something serious with her. And I mean, in that way, it's kind of like, it's almost ironic that this was like the college spring break episode. Cause it's like such a college boy thing to do, to like think that they can just go around from girl to girl and then like they finally realize like, hey.
Well, the difference is Jonah's ambitious, he's intelligent, he's successful, and that's what Zoe wants on paper. So he really has the Wade and the George combined, which we've talked about before. However, it seems like George may be coming involved a little bit more with Zoe than we expected.
I think it's normal to have those feelings for an ex or somebody you used to care for. I think what him and Zoe shared previously was a pretty strong connection, and they both wish something could have happened and it didn't. And maybe his, you know, his already dislike towards Jonah, you know, just brought out that jealousy in him, because we didn't really see too much jealousy when it was Wade. It was almost as if he approved of who she was with and he was okay with that, and he knew Zoe was okay. But with Jonah, he's not sure, and just because he's not with her doesn't mean he doesn't care.
I think it could be like I'm not even really interesting because this has happened like 5 times already, but kind of, I guess, maybe an interesting twist to have him, George, like go back to maybe liking Zoe, but at the same time, I think he's almost taking on more of like a big brother role in this situation where he's just being protective over her, and not so much that he really wants to be with Zoe himself, but he just sees this guy who's not good for her, in theory at least, and he doesn't want her to give into that and to be with him.
I could see that, but I see other ways too.
It's really selfish of him, though, because he's in this relationship. I mean, obviously, we don't know how serious he is about Tansy because he's like flirting, I guess, with other girls. But he's in this relationship, and Zoe is not. And he's seen that she's been heartbroken. So even if he is trying to play the big brother role, I think it's a little selfish of him to try to like protect her from every guy that she comes in contact with.
I think like you go tell her that Jonah's a player, just be careful and let her make her own decisions. But at the same time, I can't really tell which way he's going. I've never thought they've had really a lot of chemistry between the two, but he's sitting there on the couch in the hospital saying like, he doesn't know how special you are. And it's like, was there a little bit of something there? Yeah. Does he, and then, but he's like, oh, but I'm not jealous. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it's a little predictable because we never saw them actually get together. So at some point, I feel like it's probably going to have to happen.
I'm wondering if it's going to be one of those things where they do get together and they find out that it doesn't work. You know that they are better friends, and it's too much like kissing your friend as opposed to somebody you're drawn to. Because like you said, I've never thought there was chemistry. There was a pull between her and Wade, and you could see them being drawn to each other. But her and George was almost wanting what you couldn't have, and then when you could have it, they both did end up walking away. I mean, Zoe pushed for that, but they did walk away, and they really haven't looked back.
Yeah, I don't want them to.
I felt they did have chemistry first season. Second season, not so much. But first season, I liked them. Yeah. Sometimes. I was still Team Wade, but I did like them.
George is just too goofy now. Like, he can't take him seriously.
I can't.
Well, we do like one couple that kind of got together at the end of the episode. Thanks to Lemon's blessing, Annabeth and Lavon have connected and will become the new couple in BlueBell. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Are you excited?
No.
Really? I'm glad. I'm glad. She wanted it. He wants it. Just let them be happy for a little bit. Lemon's not in their way. Ruby's not in their way. It's just like, finally.
I agree, but I don't think it's going to work.
No?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Let them be happy. Like, they've both wanted relationships. But I just don't think it's going to work.
Oh, see, I just see it actually... It's been so played out. I feel like this has been going on for a very long time, and now they're together, and it was very anticlimactic, and I don't really feel like... I'm like, woo! Like, I'm not super excited about it. When Wade and Zoe got together, I was excited.
I know, and now I'm depressed.
Yeah, and now we're depressed. But I wasn't super excited. I don't necessarily see it ending. I just kind of see it plateauing and just being a relationship. You know? No, just being a relationship.
Comfortable.
Kind of like Wanda and Tom, and how they're just kind of, they are. They just are, and it doesn't play like a huge role in other than the wedding, but it's not an up and down thing. I think it's going to be kind of a steady thing for the two of them.
For a while, I think.
Yeah. Because it just lasted so long getting to this point. I feel like it has to kind of, even with Zoe and Wade, it was okay for a while.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, anything else you guys want to talk about from this episode? I think we covered pretty much.
Did we say that they're buying the Rammer Jammer? So they're buying the
yeah.
Rammer Jammer.
I know. Lemon and Wade, what an interesting combination.
I can see it.
I think it'll be good because I think Wade can be the creative one and Lemon can be like the business mind behind it, but they're going to conflict, I think.
Do we see sexual tension between the two of
I
them?
hope not. I really hope not.
But I saw it that one night when he took her out dancing and she pretended to be like his girlfriend. Do you remember that when she put on the clothes and everything? I saw that they have fun together, but maybe it's just a friendship. Maybe they've been friends their whole life, so maybe it is a friendship.
I'm
thing.
hoping it's one of those like high school friendships. You know, you
Like they're
always just hang
buddies,
with the
yeah.
guys. So I'm thinking that's what it is, and maybe they'll end up being a really good team. And I'm sure Annabeth will help out as well. But good for them. And what Wade, he's a good guy. So you see it again. He takes his palm off the bow at the exact same time because he doesn't want to win when Lemon has to go see her dad in the hospital.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was
it.
sweet.
Good end to the episode.
I thought, honestly, when he took his hand off, that was kind of going to be like a Zoe Wade sort of, like she would realize he's a good guy.
I
Like,
hope
because
she
he did
does.
that, but I don't think she paid a bit of attention.
No, not at this point. I'm hoping that comes
she's
soon.
I would just like to say, though, that we kept commenting. Well, actually, I never made this comment, even though I'm very overly critical. But everyone was like, oh, she looks so bad this episode. Woo, she's
Lemon?
Lemon, especially when she had been up for like, over a day or whatever. But she was very likable this episode because of the whole thing with the boat and her crying, like, I have to go see my dad. I really want to do something on my own. And then the whole thing with her and Annabeth.
It's relatable.
Yeah, she's becoming, so
person.
much more likable. And when someone, I think it was Tim maybe mentioned that the first episode when he was here, or the second episode or whatever, that her character was developing and she's becoming more relatable and likable. And I was like, okay, I'm not really buying it, but she really is.
She's peeling back
I'm
the
still-
layers
because I don't dislike her as much. Not that I like her, not that she's my favorite character, but I don't dislike her like I used to in like first season.
She still is manipulative and kind of conniving, but in a way, like a business way. Like today when she was trying to figure out how to win that money, she's not using it necessarily to destroy people like you really felt like she was before. And she's being a good friend and she's doing all these things she didn't do before. And maybe that's something that comes or stems from the fact that when her and George broke up, she had to become a new person.
Well, you just see the insecurity and like the defensive nature of hers is kind of.
Yeah, she's like
washed
she's
away.
analyzed her life and made changes.
Most of them have, which is great. Okay, so news and gossip.
Of course.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so Tim Matheson, our favorite doctor, has landed a 2-part guest arc on CSI. This is according to TVLine.com, and he's actually going to be playing a doctor on that show as well, but not a very friendly one. That's all I'll say in case anyone listening also watches CSI. I don't want to ruin it for you. So Tim's going to be appearing on the CSI season finale, which is going to air at 9 o'clock p.m. on May 15th on CBS. And he's going to also appear in the season premiere for next season, which is going to air in the fall.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it's a 2-part guest
And he
arc.
may be on there a little bit more than
Yes, so good for him. Speaking of season finales, the band Gloriana
Love
will
them.
perform their latest single, Can't Shake You, on the season finale of Hart of Dixie, which is May 7th. For those of you who may not be as familiar with country like myself, they had a very popular song that was the most played single by a group on a country radio in 2012, and that song was Kissed You Goodnight. So we can look forward to seeing them on May 7th. And lastly, a few stars like Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and our favorite Zoe, Rachel Bilson, have been seen carrying feed bags to support this feed charity, which donates food to needy children around the world. So if you want to be like your favorite celebrities, you can participate as well by actually going to Macy's department store. Macy's, Feed, and Clarins have teamed up. They're doing a limited time promotion where you buy 2 Clarins products. You get a Feed pouch, a little makeup pouch. It comes with 6 travel size Clarins items, and the proceeds from that pouch go to providing 10 school meals for a child that's hungry and in need. But you have to be quick about it because the promotion only lasts 10 days, and that's going to start on April the 10th and go to April 20th of 2013.
So tomorrow.
So
Yeah,
get to your
so-
Macy's.
So that's
Clarence
my
is
news and
good.
gossip.
Awesome. Predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
I think we've talked about a lot of these already.
Yeah.
You know mine, which I think Jonah is going to come around and be like, Zoe is the girl that will make me change my ways.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't have any serious predictions. I think most of them I've already said. I think there is something wrong with Brooke, and I'm hoping it's not as serious as we may be thinking it is. I hope it's something that isn't going to really shake things up. I hope it's just something that, makes you think and be grateful for what you have. And I kind of think that's how Hart of Dixie will take it, just because it is a lighthearted show and we're closing in on the end of the season, but who knows. And then I also think we're going to see Zoe look at Wade differently again, even though I've kind of said that I don't think she should because of the fact that he cheated on her. I think her seeing him be motivated and buy the Rammer Jammer and really push his life forward will spark her interest again, maybe.
Wait, I have to say something, because we were just talking about Tim getting a two episode arc. This could actually be something that ends up being really bad if he ends up moving on to a different show. So I guess it depends on his actual acting career, but it could go either way. I could see it go either way. With the Wade thing, I also think that he will become successful, and that's what he needs. He doesn't need the relationship right now, so maybe it'll come around in a while. Once Rammer Jammer is like Wade
in full force.
What do you guys think will happen with do you think the Rammer Jammer will be successful, or do you think that Lemon and Wade will work well together?
You think it'll be called Wade's Place? Like Zoe got the sign for him?
No.
I think it would be nice, but I don't think Lemon will let that happen.
No.
I think
there might be a buyout or something.
Well, that's the other thing. The money from his dad, I meant to mention that.
Got money.
Maybe that money he'll buy Lemon out, and then she can buy her own place. Like maybe they decide they don't work well together.
I wonder how that money comes into play.
I see Lemon with more of a fancies type restaurant than a bar.
Or a butter stick.
Yeah, or something like that. So
unless they make it like the hot new club where it's like this like lounge, a nice restaurant and bar.
In BlueBell?
I don't know.
My prediction is, I don't know how soon this will come, but there's been drama with Fillmore in the past with the whole strawberry thing, and now this like boat contest. So I think there might be bigger drama with them. Like, can one like town buy out another or something and like take them over?
Expand?
Yeah, or something like an annexation or something. I don't know.
That's like a good one, because you never know. What if they like the county lines are now like pushed to include both, and so we get all these new people? I like that.
That's where all the spring breakers came from.
Oh man, is that it, you guys?
That's it.
Well, we will see you next week for another episode of Hart of Dixie. I'm one of your hosts, Whitney Lane. You can find me on Twitter at WhitneyLane1118 and on my website, Whitney-Lane.com.
And I am Paige Sullivan. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Sull, and you can find me at perfectpage.com.
I'm Christine Archer, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CArcher.
I'm Michelle Renee, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well at Michelle Renee LA.
We will see y'all next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.